So my talk today, the name of it is called The End of Suffering, Deepening Surrender. And I decided to write it on this topic because I have such grand, wonderful things happening in my life, and then there's always the yin and the yang. You know, there's that part. Last Saturday, I married my best friend here at the church, Mike, up there. And that's a dream come true, of course, and still kind of floating in that energy, you know. And then, you know, you still have life, and you still have to go through it. And I also counsel people who go through life, and I get to see the challenges that we're handed, and what a wonderful gift it is that we're all on a spiritual path. And one of the greatest gifts of being on a spiritual path is that we are kind of given guidelines on actually how to have a happy life. And we don't necessarily utilize all of the tools. And so I think that's why we come every Sunday to, first of all, feel community and feel that oneness with our brothers and sisters and sit amongst each other. Just that transforms us to get out of our isolation and out of our mind and separation and just be a part of this oneness. Then we hear a message that reminds us of the truth of our being. You know, we resonate with pieces of the stories that I talk about from my personal life or from other people's lives. And we start to figure out, you know, there really is divine order and a divine process. And if we stick to these guidelines that all the seers that have preceded us on this path, their promises are that we will be happy, joyous, and free, regardless of what's happening in our lives right now. So happy, joyous, and free, regardless of the outer circumstances of our lives. Because ultimately, it comes down to choice, right? No matter the chaos of what's happening in our children's lives, or with our spouses, or with our health, or when it comes down to it, we have a choice. Edgar Cayce said, we always have free will. Yes, there's a divine path, and that our souls are either going to grow in a lifetime or they're going to go backwards. That there's actually an evolution of this soul so that we may keep growing each lifetime. That there's a divine purpose for why we are here. But we, as human beings, as human souls, have a choice to either decide to go along with this life from the separation, from the ego point of view that I have control over it, and we still dictate and tell people how a world is supposed to be, and so therefore keep ourselves separate and alone and actually don't believe God even exists. And in that state, we feel very alone. And we feel we need other circumstances to help us get through the difficulties. Using alcohol, using medications, using drugs, using shopping, using spending money we don't have to fill us for 1 tiny second so we don't have to feel the truth of our being. We haven't lowered in to the vastness of this divine power that resides within each and every one of us.